Wow. Both trial parts? Is this just going to be a 4-hour trial? Is it going to be one day? Real simple? Hello. As for who's mad at us, it's Kazuma, our boyfriend. He's mad at us because he's become a prosecutor. Because we got over here and we became too good of a defense lawyer. And he was like, no. Now what am I supposed to do? I guess I'll just become a prosecutor. And I'll prosecute people. But yes, good morning. Hello. Bienvenue. How's it going? We're gonna be jumping into this. I don't know how long I'm gonna go for specifically on this. I have reading to do for a very important event coming up soon. So I don't know if I do stream on Monday morning. I don't think it'll be Great Ace Attorney. It'll probably just be something else. Because yeah, I want to try to save my voice. Investigation after. Got it. You're starting DoorDash. Are you getting food or are you working DoorDash? Let's go! I would say you just spoiled that there's going to be an investigation for this one, but we all knew that this wasn't going to be a one and done trial. Okay. Have fun. Be careful. Get them tips. Just have to wait for the background check. Oh. Oh, you're like... Oh, okay. You have to get a... I mean, I guess that does make sense that you have to get a background check for working DoorDash. Well, I hope you get good stuff. I hope it's not a pain in the ass. The gig economy is something. Anyway, there's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there, I suppose? Yes, I think so. There he is. At least driver background check makes sense. Yeah. Make sure they're on the up and up and not gonna do anything weird to people's food. Astro Dude, thank you very much for the follow. Holy shit. Welcome in, welcome in. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. Oh, we don't have to worry about summation examination? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like a trial of the trial of the professor 10 years ago. Closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Sholmes! Sholmes jump scare. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? It's an outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem is the ability to read. Balrog, you're on time. I'll be here all day, but I'll stay as long as I can. Don't worry, it's a work day, so I'm only going for a couple hours. It's another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Bro is pooping rainbows right now, and not because he's gay. Farming panel is here for blurps. There you go. Don't forget, you can also throw stuff at me too, so, you know, there's that. Oh dear, how awful for you. Saw Thunderbolts yesterday, it was peak. I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm not watching Marvel anymore. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. Now you. I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. I'm waiting for it to drop on Disney Plus so I can save for the Switch 2. Fair enough. I don't think a movie ticket's going to set you back that much, but I get it. And whilst they may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer is a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. She's got her inspector's badge. Gina. What's that on her arm? Is it a mourning band, I suppose? Oh. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, and I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Uh-oh. Father-in-law's in the gallery. She's in mourning. Yeah, I got that. Caught on. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. May not even get to the suicide? Maybe not. Oh, no. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina. I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't for him, who was? If it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. You know how these trials go. I start pointing fingers, we eventually point fingers at the right person, and that person gets sent to jail. Or the gallows straight away. I don't know what happens to him after I point the finger at them. That's just where it goes. Yeah, I like Gina a lot. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. If it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. At least, that may be some solace to the deceased. Aww. Please, Odo. You ever did this for the boss? Oh, Gina. Just want to pat her on the head. I hate feeling this useless, but if there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find a way, gotta find who done this, and make the wretch pay. God, I got so much fun. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Alright, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Von Zeiks. Ba, ba, ba. When we saw the Sulkin trio in the credits, they were probably awaiting trial. More than likely. Hey, kiddo, what's up? One who lost his treasure to his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father to a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All of that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's working? It should be. I turned it on. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. Yep, it works. Whatever truth it revealed, is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. What is Case 5 gonna be? Like, this Case 4 feels like it's the finale episode. What the fuck is gonna happen in the next case? Don't tell me, obviously, but it's just like, I'm shocked. So there are people within the gallery. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial for the defendant, Barak von Zeiks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. Prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. Don't call him Sama anymore. He doesn't deserve it. He's mad at us. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. It's that damn monkey's paw. Ryunosuke, you picked it up. You said, I want to see Kazuma in court again. It curled its little finger. And then it was... Oh, God. And then it was just like, okay, but he's going to be a prosecutor. Shit! I know that she calls him Kazuma-sama since they were kids. He doesn't deserve the honorific anymore, is what I'm saying. Bear fucking dies and Kazuma kills him. That's Case 5. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecutor's bench. It's hard to turn off for someone so strict with etiquette. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. Still not over the fact that he's dead. Truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present. What about the gallery, then? Are those just lords and ladies or some shit? What's going on there? By Her Majesty's direct orders. Kazuma's mad at Barak, not us. No, he's mad at us. Everybody asks us to stand across him for the defense. Oh, I know. I'm making the joke that Kazuma hates us so much he's become a prosecutor after he lost his memory because we became a defender who's better than he could ever have been. And that's why. How would that work, my lord? The burden of all adjuration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? Thank you, Susato. Thank you for thank you for spilling the tea. They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary. Oh my. So this is a very unusual trial already. I love how flawed Kazuma is. It's good. No, I'm not mad that he's a prosecuting attorney right now. I want to make that clear. I do like the fact that he seems to have some, like, shit going on, and he's not... for better or worse comparison, he's not Mia from the first trilogy, who seemed like she was just, outside of, like, that little past thing that we saw, she seemed almost infallible, whereas clearly Kazuma has some shit going on, even though he was kind of presented in Mia's role at the beginning, including the fact that he was, in air quotes, killed in the second case of the first game. So, which, hey, If you're here, that means you probably know. But yeah. There's, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must... bleh. Counsel for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain. Thanks, Your Honor. What a way to present that. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I am quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma? They both died in the second case, and they have nice boobs. Yeah. I mean, do you see the fucking, like, the suctioned, like, suit that Kazuma's wearing? Like, by God, man. Are you, can your skin breathe at all in there? Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asagi, your opening statement, if you please. Like, look at that. There is no room between skin and cloth on that outfit. Certainly, my lord. It's meant to be padding, is it? The incident took place on the 1st November. On 1st November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresco Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. The Professor case. I'll show you about the time of the incident. Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I wish they had the balls to draw Susato with the muscle she should have for her strength. I mean, to do a flip sometimes, a lot of it like is using your opponent's own like momentum against them. It's not always about the ability to just toss someone over your shoulder like a sack of potatoes, you know? I have here a plan of the room. That room's way bigger in drawing than it actually is. Leverage. There it is. Jeez, anime strength, though. I mean, there's also that. The victim was found curled up in the corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry room. That would do it. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is point-blank range. Yes, I see. Thanks for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Autopsy report! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shut up, Kazuma. Name Tobias Gregson, male, age 45, nationality British, time of death blank. Coroner, Maria Gori, it's your girl. She did the autopsy. Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in an instant death. Scorch marks at the point of entry, the bullet exited the body from behind. Additional observations. The caliber of the gun used matches that of the standard issue firearm for members of the judiciary. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its province can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There was a candelabrum mounted on the wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. Noticed too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for your thorough report, Counsel. The setting for the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. The candy zebra, sir. What? As you wish, my lord. Crime scene. Crime scene. You said mean that both ways. What? Huh? What? Huh? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Fuck! We have the board, we have the victim. Alright. Not much new. Not much new. This is Fresno Street room, Inspector Gregson's private abode. No, my lord. The room was rented to a Mr. Hugh Bone. But there is precious little furniture inside. It is generally a poor state of repair. I forgot about Shinosuke. Huge ass. So, what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When the policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witness and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. Barak, what are you doing touching evidence? The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally. The accused himself. Lord von Zeiks! As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. We have to cross-examine von Zeiks? You mean he's gonna fucking straight up just lie to us? Oh my god, here we go. They let him have it. He's not gonna, like, eat it or something. It's what? Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand. Nice themes here. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barak von Zeiks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord von Zeiks, that you've heard Prosecutor Osugi's opening precise? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I can explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I can't wait to pick holes in your truth. Fun fact, Kazuma has 4 themes. Oh no. That's a lot of themes. I must say, Lord Van Zeiks, I never imagined this day would come. I did! Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. I wanted to imagine it, but once you became known as the Reaper... Prosecco. Is that really how per se is spelled? I'm learning so many things today. Or in this game. A part of me has been dreading it. For formal testimony then, witness. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. Investigating? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. What? What the fuck? That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And a moment later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? Yeah, that's... I'm with Kazuma on this. That's some bullshit. You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asagi. Then, it would appear that to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's going on? Got into Kazuma. He's not behaving like himself at all. Well, right now he's a prosecutor, which means that he's an asshole. Because that's how all prosecutors are. Very well, then! Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. The hell do you mean you were investigating Gregson? What are you doing over there?
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? Ah, shit! I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No. I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. Broke into his room, stole his diary. You know, the thing you do. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Von Zeiks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet, you refused to tell the court why. Is he investigating, like, how he went about catching the Reaper, I wonder? Didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedoms to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could offend this man? Because it's fun! It was just some investigating.
Hold it!
You know, it's fine. Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside me when I entered. There was no light inside me either. Never has been. Not since my brother Clint died! Anyway. So, it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut, but not completely. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. Doing it. I have a feeling that there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though. I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruto. There's an oil lamp. Right there. There's a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it. As well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard a gunshot! There was a loud bang! And everyone was like, ah! And Gregson was like, ugh! Sorry. So who fired the gun? I have no idea. Hey, Raph. You said that we needed a suicide warning today, and I did put them up. I've tagged both the YouTube and the Twitch stream both have suicide warning as the tag. Gregson didn't shoot himself, did he? Point blank range. Where was the shot again? Did it detail in the report? Shot in the chest at close range, instant death. Is it? I mean, don't tell me, obviously, but now I'm starting to get this inkling that maybe he fucking shot himself. His arm was super long. I mean, you could kind of get an angle. We don't know the full distance. I mean, it was close enough that he got a burn mark. Yeah, we only have that it was close range, so we don't know specifically how far away the gun was. We just know it was close range enough to leave a scorch mark. I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But if you say it was very dark in there... Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence. Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No. No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without a doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Ah, this is gonna be going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. It was careless on my part. Damn right. Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth was the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. Hold on. Wait a minute. Can we look at the chamber? This is the type of revolver the judiciary. This is to ask whether the record are kept on who they are issued to. I was told for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that this must have been issued longer ago than that. What? Can't we pop open the chamber? Why can't we pop open the chamber? Man, that would be such an easy way to verify if there was a fucking gunshot that came from it.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working in Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. I love them. Uh-oh. Yes, Gina's told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did. Almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man who came in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. The policeman patrolling the Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I'm concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point. Then suddenly, there it was. The firearm that you somewhat hastily took into your hands. Just like Edgeworth! Oh no, this really is... This really is case 4. I mean, on the bright side, at least, Von Zeiks wears gloves. So he wouldn't have, added any fingerprints. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed and how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Oh. Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused Barak von Zeiks is lying on multiple fronts. Oh yeah? The fingerprints they don't use. But remember, we do have the investigations stuff now, so, maybe they do. What's that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct? No, that's impossible. It's proven by the candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see that it was blown off by a powerful impact. Bro, I don't know what happened. Cosmo, nah. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider that the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. Boy, a bot! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Band, get out of here. Yes, I can see the blood back. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together. Which begs the question of, why only one has ended up longer than the others? That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullets, it obviously went out. The other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. The accused's claims that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they include a number of reports from various historical cases. I mean, we're in a closed court with the judiciary, so technically they can be divulged because everybody who's here has been cleared to know what's going on in this trial. So, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board. Indeed, what is the common thread, Counselor? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak von Zeiks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of these defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. I think judiciary members are only privy to the details of their own cases. I guess that is fair. What I'm saying is that this wouldn't get out to the public, so it feels like we could get a little bit of details, but at the same time, it's not that consequential. Ah! Oh no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. the Reaper's hideout? That's a lot of conjecture you're throwing out over there. And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. Kazuma was like searching around. It's like, I know it's his place. If I look around here, I'll find a button that opens to a big secret cave. Like, come on, man. No one would believe that. No, the truth is that we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of a Reaper. Yes. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. You think his dainty ass would set up in that dusty ass room? Yeah, like, there's no way. Bro is a noble. He would just do this shit in his own fucking room. Why would anybody question why he was looking into the Reaper? As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What? What? You know, okay, come on, man. Look at his ass. Look at the way he stands. Order! Very well, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Herr von Zeiks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great services to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asugi's contention. Or rather, I should concur with Prosecutor Asugi's conjecture. The defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazuma's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed to the court as evidence. Yay! I believe it will be to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. No, this board. No, this board. No! Shut up, Kazuma. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh. I was like, I bet there'll be something on the back here. And I was fucking right. What's this bloody handprint? Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look. Oh, yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. And the color, that's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing. There's blood on the backside. Does somebody slap this thing after dying? Details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't they? Paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked up. Do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene, too. Is Inspector Gregsman an exponent of the Red-Haired League, then? I love that the pins are actually modeled. That's really cool. It gives it like an uncanny flip and feel. I don't know. Anyway. Now the prosecution would like to call a new witness to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes. Street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. He's really Jones. Oh my god. Oh, and look at that. Another guy we remember. So, witnesses, state your name and occupation.
First you had my curiosity, but now you have my erection.
Raph, calm down! Don't do that again. Don't you do that ever again. You gotta get that lip checked out, buddy. I think that might be a tumor. Names. We all use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live. I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno. It's been a few words. It's a verse for them. Ah. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the streets? Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know? Beppo the homeless. Poor guy. Jaunty little tidbits. She's pretty, but she's a one-night stand type of girl. Jesus Christ. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your genal, it is. Jim. 6 pence is the price, not a penny less. I'll pass. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. What the fuck? You give him the money and see what it is. Pay the man, counsel. You pay him! Fuck all of you! Alright. 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Sellet Street have just had twins. 6 pence well spent. Is that it? Take that. No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. One other juicy one. 6 pence. 6 pence a piece. It is. If you're curious. I'm not curious. I'm curious, yes, about what's going on just under that flat bottom lip of yours. Namely, the unusual bruise. Oh! Or whatever that is poking out from under your collar. Oh, yeah. What happened there? What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by, and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. Oh, yeah? 6 pence a pop! What do you say? That was fast. I'm exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah! The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. So we've got a gossip and we've got a fucking fireworks saleswoman. Okay. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they can blow up the school. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What do you say then, eh? Wanna part with 6 pence for a pop? Actually, yes. Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Yeah, give him. I want to add him to evidence. Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. You'll see why I like her. I'm sure that she's gonna have some funny thing going on with her. Try the woman. Give her money. Pay the woman, counsel. Alright. Lovely stuff. Right then. This is something a bit extra. Just for you. The Venus Special. Only 600 pence. 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey, either. Thank you. Thank you. I knew they would be added to the court record. And the last witness... Rinosuke, what are you doing? I'm looking at the fireworks. Why are you looking at the fireworks? Because I think they're important. What do you mean? Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus Special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Bang! Alright, that was fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like... Oh my god, you mean a firework can sound like a gunshot? Oh, fuck! Were they in cahoots? Were these two operating to try to kill Mr. Gregson, our inspector? What the hell's going on? What name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm a thinker, me. Yeah, I think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the world go on about me. They call me the Observer. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it. So you don't actually sell anything? Problem shared is a problem halved. As they say. I give advice, I do, and I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it. No more purchases today, please. Well, we have quite the cast here. But they're Japanese, they don't do guns in Japan. Oh, I wasn't making fun of them, I was making fun of the game. Yeah, no, I was not making fun of those two for not understanding that it sounds like a gunshot. I was just like, oh, hey, here's a really obvious, like, curveball that they just gave. Sandwich! When the Japanese PM was assassinated, people thought that the noise was a firework. I mean, considering the homemade gun, yeah, I probably would think it was a firework, too. They conducted their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but they... I just had a fucking thought. Hey... What if this wasn't blown up by a gunshot, but rather there was a firework buried in it? That would explain a lot, actually. Okay. Alright. Anyway, back to it. Not only that, but they very bravely...
This is big brain time.
My brain is so big right now. It's catching fire. I'm cooking so hard. They really bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime. I'll be beggared. I'll be beggared. I thought. Just between us. Venus to Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is if we all what we see is light and shadow playing it with our eyes. Is any of it real? Turning into Vegapunk. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. We will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. I can't believe she handed us one of the tricks. Like, just straight up. Because she wanted to get that 600 pence. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went in the building. Uh-huh. It was less than a minute after the Reaper was gone inside that we heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go see what had happened. I ran into the room, and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, me. I ran off to find a copper. 600p is 600p, you know? Sometimes you gotta fuck up your own plan because you wanted 600 pence. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barrack von Zeiks. I've seen pictures of the Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I've made myself a tidy sum already. But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats in Fresno Street are unoccupied. Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot. They're expensive to boot? The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Bone. Testimony in the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's become increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. No! Thank you. Thank you for your candor, my lord. Oh, it's starting to feel like a real Ace Attorney game all of a sudden. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with a cross-examination. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinions matters. I have to break down this testimony, somehow. Do we get to summation examination the judge and be like, hey, see this? It's just the fact that the judge is jumping to conclusions and like making it known and all that kind of stuff. It's starting to feel like the original Ace Attorneys, because we've always had to worry about the jury in these games, and now all of a sudden we don't. So the whole thing from start to finish.
Hold it!
Hey, we saw him go in. We did. When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Von Zeiks? Suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went in last. That's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fellow must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? I'm sure. Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a fellow with the bright red hair like that, does it? What? Yeah, his hair was, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. That fiery red mop's still burnt inside my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute. You're saying the man is a redhead? Or was a redhead? Aren't you listening, chum? Aye! It was a redhead, and he had a big trunk with him as well. But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Damn it, he was wearing the toupee. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And a red hairpiece. Ah! Of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? Color does seem to suit the man. Excuse me, suit the man, one might say. Photograph will be submitted as evidence to the court record. Okay, so it was laying in the blood. Doesn't seem like it soaked at all. Anything we can really glean from this? What became of the trunk that the redhead victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene, so it just disappeared. What? Do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. Less than a minute before bang! By which presumably you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? She's got quite the no, I'm not gonna say it. But I've always thought it was probably sounded a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. That's right. It's almost straight away. Bang! It went just like that. Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? That's what the French call a fait accompli. Fait accompli? I don't know. Say it, coward. She's got a fucking striking ass. Alright, there you go. When the Reaper's around, people are going to the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we got the message. Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. You're still assuming it's his. Do you have any proof other than the fact that there was a board with, like, shit about the Reaper? There could be no clearer motive for the crime. Yes. It's certainly an admittedly credible motive. Is it? Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct? Hold it! How Beppo, how you doing? So, when Gossip ran to see what happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see? All the signs here that I can't move very well. You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and the big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before? Oh, I'm not anybody. Me? The sign is what makes me who I am now. I sign, therefore I am. Oh no. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just a year ago then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling is intensified, Mr. Naruto. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. Alright! Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widow's arms is just there. Oh dear, you made him hide behind a sign. Life is full of surprises. What is my type of man? I mean, I don't really have like a fully specific type. I do love a built man. Like Katakuri is a good example, I guess. But I also, you know, I don't mind like a petite dude either. As long as they're cute.
Hold it!
So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right? But I was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did, and yelled out, "What's going off here?" Zeiks claimed to have heard that, was a man's scream, though. Traumatized fictional men. Oh no. And was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. But just between us, is the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Ah, I see. Big Boob Latinas. I do know, not against it. Even though Lord Von Zeiks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall. Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Barak Von Zeiks. That's right, Paleface Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold hard stare, I did.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah? Did you? You have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head. Ain't no thoughts going on in here. Just two slices with no middle. So I don't know why you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean. What I think is, we're all nothing, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Yeah, keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on him backside. That's it. Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scampered off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. That means nothing. Mr. Gossip, is this true? Floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand on a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck. You, what? A pool of blood? Well, listen here. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold, hard stare. Don't forget it. Let's just go back a little bit. Did you say you got blood on your hand? Did I? Happens to the best of us sometimes, doesn't it? I was so scared I slipped over. That we can keep just between us, can't we? No. No, Mr. Gossip. Insert the Joe Cat song. Oh, no. I really don't have a type of woman. I mean, yeah. Like, all women are incredible and amazing and awesome. And, yeah. Insert the Joe Cat song. No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
Hold it!
You wiped your hands on the floor. Well, who wants blood on his hands, eh? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I'd done it. No talk. You didn't think that might be a problem? Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll all get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us. Is something wrong, Counsel? No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the reports about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all. Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor. The blood. I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo? I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have uncovered a vital clue. Okay. People are too much for me. That's fair. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, because we now know there is a bloody handprint on the back of this, but it's an upside down handprint. Was this thing knocked over? Like, if this was the only way that could have happened, the only way that the handprint could be in the orientation it is if it was like this. If this is his handprint, of course. So the scene was probably a little tiny bit more chaotic than they're letting on. I was scared after death, me, so I ran off to find a copper. So you didn't run into the room with your friends? No, I'm not that sort of girl. Sorry. I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there. Ah, right. I see. Old Lippy and Witch ran in there, and then I heard a sort of old lady scream. Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my honor on it. I wondered what on earth was going on. Which is when you went to find a policeman. And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, eh? Just between us, the copper's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I've never felt more uncomfortable in my life. The defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe. Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. I can't find any holes in this testimony. I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Naruto. The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning. Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statement, do they? Still, if Lord Von Zeiks really is innocent, then I am almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up. You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you? I don't know. But what I do know, there's more to this case than is yet to be brought to light. I'm so confident that I'm gonna just do it. No save scum.
Objection!
Damn. Look at me go. So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else did you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter? Police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asugi. Oh, shit! Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found. On the floor. What are you trying to say? Flip that board around. There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinct color of blood. Hey! Oh, you're dead right! That's my right hand! I know it anywhere! Bro twisted himself up like a pretzel. The witness very definitively testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprint on the back of the board are irrelevant. What? No, they're not! Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible that the witness's handprint would to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was on the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position, even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been in a considerable distance from the body. You're right! So that means, what the fuck? I fell over when I came across the body. So it was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. No, the layout of the room is contradictory. But yes it is. What? There is a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by another handprint! The board moving, false testimony. My big brain is big-brained out. Let's see. I want to say the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is! If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upward. What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? What the hell is that stance? You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point, and that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for this to the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? I mean, it would have to be near the door, right? Baggin is the true play villain? What the hell are you talking about? I mean, if he's to be believed, it would have to be around here. This is the only possible location. Okay. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. Which would explain it just appeared out of nowhere. If the court would like to take the testimony given by the defendant earlier, the guy in Arceus that overcharges the bag space. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's the true villain. I completely agree. He said that when he entered the room, it was dark and he couldn't see the body. But if the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. But the accused also claims the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. He fucking slammed the door open and it knocked over the board, and then all of a sudden you can see Gregson. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open by force. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over, and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw. Ah! Oh no, he got a new memory of, oh yeah, I taught him how to bullshit, Your Honor. Ora! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Witness! What have you to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before everybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witness in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. Bro twists himself up like that one reporter guy from the first Apollo Justice game. I ain't know anything about that. Where that notice board. I just want my hand on it. That's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. What? I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at a crossroads of life. It was the Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. What? I can't see how this changes anything anyway. Detective still died when we heard the gunshot. We don't speak of Brushel. You must acknowledge Brushel and that one concept drawing of him in his underwear. So none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's such an excuse. That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you, really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody without somebody following the incident, there's no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly committed this crime is Barak von Zeiks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? You fucking bet! Most certainly, my lord. Very well. Then you will proceed, counsel. I don't know nothing about nothing. I ain't got a thought in me head. So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Admit it? What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. The smashing print of Marat hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint? So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-natured man? I don't think it takes that much to pick it up. Proceed! Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. There was a precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. In other words, the witness was unable to give a definitive testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem. How expensive are matches?
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean that you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's a priory school just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to Kingdom Come. Ha. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, okay. Oh, do you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. And then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off of them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids come back to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives. Venus is a golful goddess indeed. Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it. Did you just admit that you were lying on the witness stand?
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts? Deep philosophical thoughts? Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth, in which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one. Don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that, and I'll wrap your whole body in fireworks and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about. a startlingly disturbing mind between that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'll be burned in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshots seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Heh. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? Have to remember to clip that striking ass bit. No! What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned that. Thank you for committing perjury on the stand. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew fireworks packed such a punch? So, you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief. Well, now that you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah? Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Now, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurous act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, my lord, of course. Won't be as bad as this stiletto clip. I don't remember that one. Maybe I did sneak along in behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Alright. But you did, in fact, go into the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Alright, just a bit, then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know? Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Alright, just a bit then. I had to look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but there was nothing to write home about. Right, now I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. It's just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth, please. Alright then. I thought there might have been something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us you did move that board? I think I did, that did slip out, didn't it? What? You daft brimbot! I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. She's got no thoughts in there. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell? Oh, please. I should be so lucky. I meant the truth! I might have found this old pocket watch underneath the notice board, I suppose. Ma'am, you have been caught lying multiple times. You're not the president. Just give up the truth, please. A bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Gina! So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it? Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. Topical. Yep. Professor's case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. I see. I swapped it off him once, and blimey, was he upset. He gave me the right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then. It's not all that, though. I took it to Jebba's that night to ask how much it was worth. The old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. He said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it. How many of those matches do you think Mana would buy? All of them. That watch must be submitted to evidence at once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough, and the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. Good lord! The glass appears to be broken! More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. Doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh? Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard, then. Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hey! Don't this look familiar? Ah, there's a tiny keyhole here. Can you see? Oh yes, that's probably the winder used to wind up the mechanism. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes. You need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though I've seen something a bit like a key? It's about the right size to fit the hole. It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found. I gotta look at the key individually? I haven't already established that it's a key? Twist the head. One of the charming wears is charming, alright, and just does the thing, and then you push it and you switch it, and then ka-chunk, kapook. It's the key! He's going to pass the down to Gina with the toy, I'm sure. It could also be a knife! But tiny, it's tiny though. The key to the door size was, I wonder. Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be! Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. Do-da, 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 chick. I knew it! It's a perfect fit! It really was the winder. I thought it was going to open up something. And look! The Inspector's watch. It started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken, after all, I have a feeling that it could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply, too. It's been wound! I'm hungry. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from the small hole here. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something that for setting the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of the watch, it's probably broken when the incident occurred. Yes, of course! Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. We're gonna have to find that later, aren't we? Thought it was a gun earlier. I made a joke that it was a gun because it had a hole in it. Hold on. I'm hungry. I'm gonna have a little bit of a chocolate to stem my hunger for a little tiny bit. Glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look. What a shame that when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. I have a Snickers. It's got peanuts in it. That'll keep me. That'll fill me up a little bit. He's very adept with things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact. But kindly remember he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Can you be both? Not big on nuts. Well, they're not nuts, they're legumes. Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at last. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. No, it still proves that it was there. What are you talking about? Now then, continue your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Hold it!
But you did go to see what happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold up my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened. It's not the destination is important, it's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice the notice board in the room? If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the same family. The hell are you talking about? Nobody tell him about what Jello did for Beppo? Oh god. So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of the sense of rivalry I admit. Really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo siniens. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board? We already know. What do you mean, who? We know. Just for the record, I call him Strongly because of Jello. Strongy. I see. Well, exactly what do you mean by that? Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you're not noticed. Yeah, it looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. No, but not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I've ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off the man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second. Sorry. Well, I was that scared I couldn't. I never know what a friend like that might do if you look away, do you? A fiend like that. You didn't take your eyes off the defendant. You should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Oh, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. Couldn't have missed it if he had heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we cleared that up. Also his bit about him and the judge being married. Jesus. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, was it? Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of the gunshot we heard. So your fate's sealed too. My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could find some problem with that part of the story, it may be possible to change all our fates. Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it, which we've already found out. I don't know why we're still talking about this. But did it happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right, and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I have no doubt that there's more clues to be uncovered. They're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. So, they made mention that if you can prove that there was something else that could have made the sound. Does that mean that they want me to throw the firecracker here? Take that?
Objection.
I say is contradictory in a number of ways that I'll need to find. I am so confused. That's right, my lord, I found a number of ways.
Objection.
Okay. I understand where I went wrong. I want my pip back. Give me back my pip. Give it back. Right now.
Objection.
I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh. At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key? That's a toy. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it is in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Order! Order! But counsel, the watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot. It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection.
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So so it's obvious, that's obviously when the crime was committed. No! No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. Boss used to wind it up every evening without fail. When he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Said he ain't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim has a habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. Now, we can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. Oh, hey! What? Okay. In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean... What would stop the man winding his watch if he had been in a habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Order! Order! Counsel! This is most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You have been out of it for a while, Cosma. You claim that he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? On that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right! Wait a minute! You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hand on the dirty great puddle of blood. Yes. So the victim hadn't, the victim's blood hadn't dried if it was fresh. He catches on fast, doesn't he? Doesn't mean that he couldn't have died sometime during the day. He says he winds it every afternoon. But the blood could be explained by a number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been... Does my learned friend think that the fresh blood is available at every street corner? Kazuma! Bro, did you really just fucking Von Zeiks me? I can't believe you. Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human. The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection!
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. It is. Is it, though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realm of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please. What are you trying to say? The fucker. He was letting know what we, us letting know what we heard. It was a loud bang that came from this here room. Now, you listen to me. The street seller's ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir. But all of you can all of you say with certainty is that you heard a noise? This is, oh, wrong. That was already said. Explain yourself then, counsel. The noise that sounded like a gunshot could have been made with... the fireworks! Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake the gunshot. Gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness? Now, hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? Nah. My pretty little fireworks only make a little pop anyway, see? Not 100 of them together. The Venus Special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene? I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers at Fresno Street.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firework, the only person present to cause that bang was Barrack von Zeiks. One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go. One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See, that's why people like them. I fear for your fingers, young lady. Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb. Good heavens, a bomb? Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruhodo, I worry about your unfortunate phrasing there. That may lead to yet another international incident. No, wait. It's whenever you like part that's important. A timed device? Yes, exactly. A timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. Our extravagant claim will have to be sustained with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest that in any way that a time device was employed to create a gunshot? I have a theory. I have my theory, but I'm gonna say it because I don't know if I'm right. I think it was the candle.
Take that!
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum was blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. I don't think that that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorches clearly visible on the broken candle. There are? Goodness, yes! But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the entry of the bullet wound? That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at a very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be a result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks? How can that be, eh? The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the firework must have been right next to it when it exploded. Or, to put it another way, the candle and the fireworks were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the firework at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burned down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecracker, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe, the previous day even. Now, just hold your horses. All us law here saw the victim go into the building, remember? I couldn't forget the flame-colored hair, even if I'd wanted to. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely, wearing the red hairpiece. Someone else? Do you mean to say? was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Okay. Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke and Naruhodo. Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed that you've come this far. And after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? Okay, I'm going to pause really quick to say what I was going to say before that happened. So, I'm away from the fact that Gregson definitely that committed suicide himself, but I'm wondering if the actual intent was to make it look like Gregson had performed a suicide on himself by setting up this this whole timing device and everything. Just because of the close proximity of the shot, the fact that the gun was there, it just... We're going to have to wait and see, but that's my next running theory, is that it was intended to be a suicide, look like a suicide, but then Von Zeiks came in, and he got the blame. I also noted the lack of the time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Good thing this is a closed court. Order! Order, Prosecutor Asagi! What on earth do you mean by that statement? I hear that many of the leading members of the British judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it. Well, certainly. I would agree with you. And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigation work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard. Even within the Yard? However, considering the evidence that we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend? Do you have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating? Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court that the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death. Very well, counsel. Present your argument. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident? I mean, I have a good guess, but I'm going to save regardless. Take that.
Take that!
I can't say I find your answer suggestive of anything particular, other than perhaps that it is utterly wrong, that which you have to clarify more expertly. What? Congratulations, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display. Ah, fuck you! Did you have to draw Kazuma on me, my friend? Oh, Kuruma. I think, Mr. Naruhodo, there is one particular piece of evidence. Of course there is. Two things work here, and I didn't get either one of them. That's impressive. Really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Gregson was investigating. The whole fucking board about the Reaper isn't enough? Are you fucking kidding? I am... What evidence suggests the case being investigated? Is it the hairpiece? Is it...
Take that!
I fucking... The hell? Sure. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. What was he doing right before he was killed? He was sucking himself off. I might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable. Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? So, you'd already worked it out. Yeah, totally figured it out on my own and didn't just guess. The hairpiece in the article would have worked. Yeah. When you said 2, and I was like, well, there's only a couple of things that match together. I still think this is dumb, but whatever. What on earth is all this about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. A deception of what nature, Council? They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. The 2 redheads? Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. It's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. I concur that we cannot go in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us, at least. Prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Ostagi. At once, my lord. Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned. We're gonna call it here because I'm hungry. And I get some food and I gotta go to work soon. So we're gonna go ahead and call things here. Save current progress. Yeah! Yeah! Alright. This part is a bit shorter than the last one. Well, then we will do it possibly on Monday. Unless I choose to do something else on a stream on Monday to preserve my throat. Next TGS stream Tuesday. If not Monday, then it should be Tuesday. Yes. If not Tuesday, then Wednesday. All right. Let's see who's doing some streaming. So let's get some raiding going on over here. I see the chair is doing some stuff. He's playing some Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So let's get you guys on over to the funny Yakuza guys. Get you guys on over to the chair. I hope you guys have yourself a good day. I will be back tomorrow, possibly around 12. Gotta confirm with Min to start off with some Elden Ring before we go into this month's cutie stream, which will be more Monhun. I haven't been doing so much Monster Hunter lately, so it'll be good to get back to it. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Get off my ship. Goodbye. Bye, bad watchers.